Welcome to your mat yoga practice to focus on the hips and the lower back. We're going to start lying down, so coming onto your spine. And I invite you to keep those feet to the mat and widen those feet to mat distance apart. And then allow the knees to fall inwards and prop against each other. This is coming into constructive rest pose, which when that lower back is drawing our attention is a wonderful place to come into. And let's just take those hands to the belly and just take 3 nice deep centering breaths here. Letting that inhale expand the belly into the palms. And then on the exhale through the nose, letting that belly relax towards the spine. With your next inhale, taking that right knee in towards the chest. As you bring that left ankle back underneath the left knee, you can keep that left foot to the mat, or as that right knee is drawn in towards the chest, it might feel nice to start to extend that left leg long towards the front of the room on the mat. So checking in what feels best for your hips and your back today. With that right knee in towards the chest, take a nice inhale. As you exhale, relax the shoulders, the arms, and into that right hip. 2 more deep breaths here. Now you might choose to stay in stillness just as you are, or if you'd like to bring a little bit of movement into the hip, maybe you're going to start to gently rock it from side to side, rock the right knee from side to side, bringing some lubrication to that right hip joint. You can even do a few circles in one direction. Making sure to reverse and go the opposite way if you're doing those circles as well. And then once more, draw that knee in towards the chest, take a nice inhale. As you exhale, relax. Take another breath in. And on that exhale, return the right sole of the foot back to the mat. If you extended that left leg, bringing it back and taking that knee in all the way in towards the chest. Right foot can stay to the mat, or again on this side, maybe it feels nice to begin to extend that leg long on the mat in front of you. Take a nice deep breath in with that left knee in towards the chest. As you exhale, relax shoulders, arms, and into that left hip. 2 more deep breaths here. And you might stay in stillness, or maybe you're going to bring some movement, whether that's the side to side gentle rocking. Or maybe some circles on this side as well in one direction. Making sure to go the opposite way a few times as well. And then once again, drawing that knee in towards the chest, take a nice deep breath in and out. And then with your next exhale, returning that foot back to the mat. If that right leg was extended, bring that foot back to the mat. Once again, widen those feet to mat distance apart. Arms can stay by the sides of the body, or maybe you're going to extend them out from the shoulders. And just gently let the knees fall towards the right and then towards the left. Just gently windshield wipering the knees from side to side. And the next time those knees are gently falling over towards the right, pausing here. And if it's comfortable, taking that gaze over towards those left fingertips, coming into a gentle reclined spinal twist here. Take a nice full breath. And then with your next inhale, bring the head and knees back through center, letting the knees fall towards the left, gazing over towards the right if that's comfortable for the neck. And take one full breath here. With your next inhale, head and knees come back to center. Draw those knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a hug, a gentle rock from side to side. A gentle massage for the lower back. And then allowing this momentum to rock you to one side so you can press yourself up to seated and then over onto hands and knees. So finding yourself in tabletop, allowing those shoulders to be over the wrists, the hips, over the knees. Let's do a few rounds of cat and cow for the waking up that spine and the lower back. So on your inhale, dropping that belly towards the mat, drawing those shoulder blades down the spine as you gaze forward. As you exhale, rounding that spine, pressing the mid back up towards the ceiling as you press the mat away, gazing towards the navel for cat. Inhale forward for cow. Exhale, rounding the spine for cat. Let's do once more. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Allowing the spine to come back to neutral. We're going to be coming into a low lunge, opening up through those hips. So we're going to start by shifting the weight to the left, stepping that right foot forward, and finding ourselves in a low lunge. Now make sure that that front ankle is underneath the knee to protect our knee joint. And you might keep hands to the mat, or this might feel really far away. So this might be where a block comes in handy to lift the floor up to meet you. You bring those hands to your block. Let's take an inhale as we look ahead, just lengthening through the spine. Exhale, softening into that left hip. 2 more deep breaths here. Now taking that left hand and bringing it to your block or to the mat, keeping the wrist underneath the shoulder. Bring that right hand to the right thigh and just gently twisting yourself towards the right here. Now you might choose to stay here and just allow the left spine to gently twist for a breath. And you can stay here, or maybe you're going to start to extend those right fingers up towards the ceiling. Gaze might follow there, or if that's not comfortable for the neck, looking towards the horizon or looking towards the mat. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. Take another inhale, lengthen up through those fingers if you're reaching overhead. And then exhale, bring that right hand back on the inside of that right foot so we can take that right knee underneath our right hip and find ourselves back into tabletop. Let's do 3 more rounds of cat and cow. Inhale forward for cow. Exhale back for cat. 2 more at your own pace. Allowing the spine to come back to neutral after that second time. And we're going to set up for our low lunge on the other side. So when you're ready, shifting the weight to the right, stepping that left foot forward, maybe putting your block in place, allowing that left ankle to come underneath that left knee, so helping that foot forward with your hand if needed. Let's take 3 deep breaths on this side. So inhale to lengthen through the spine, looking ahead. We don't want to dump into our shoulders here. Keep length through the spine. As you exhale, soften those shoulders away from the ears and softening into that right hip. 2 more deep breaths. And then starting to position that block We're coming to the mat with that right hand, allowing that right wrist to stay underneath the right shoulder. Taking the left hand to the thigh as you gently twist and look towards the left. Staying here for a breath. And then perhaps with that next inhale, reaching those left fingertips up overhead. 2 more deep breaths here. Take another inhale to lengthen through those fingers, and on the exhale, bring that left hand on the inside of the left foot so you can allow that left knee to slide underneath the left hip and finding yourself back into your tabletop. Now from here, we're going to come into child's pose, and you might actually choose to keep your block handy if you want to lift the floor up to meet you. So what that would look like is you're going to keep those knees hip distance, or you could even come a little bit closer, starting to sink those hips towards the heels, and forehead might come all the way to the floor, or again, you might choose to have that block to lift the floor up to meet you. You can also use stacked fists as an option to lift the floor up a little bit. You might choose to extend those arms in front of you if that feels comfortable. And with the knees closer together in child's pose, it's a nice opener for the lower back. So with your next 3 breaths, I want you to think about breathing into and expanding the lower back. And with your next inhale, draw yourself back into tabletop. And you might choose to really enjoy that child's pose with the knees closer together. But another version, if you'd like to get into the hips a little bit more, is to widen those knees to mat distance apart. Keep the big toes together. And then once again, start to sink those hips towards the heels, allowing that forehead to come to your block, stacked fist, or to the mat itself. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. If those hips, or if those knees are wider to target the hips more, you have more space for the belly and the breath here. So thinking about nice full expansion, deep breaths in on the inhales, and nice exhale, slow and steady on the breath out. Allowing those hands to walk underneath the shoulders so that you can press yourself up to seated. If those knees were wider apart, drawing them back in line with the hips before we gently shift our weight to one side and allow those legs to come out in front. And we're going to find ourselves coming back onto our spine. So when you're ready, making your way down, keep those feet to the mat and start to take that left ankle on top of the right thigh. We're starting to flex those left toes towards the left shin. And this is going to protect our knee joint as we start to direct that left knee away from the body with the hand. So you might already start to feel this through the left hip and glute. So it's a wonderful posture to come into when you've been sitting for a long time. You can also do a seated version of this, and you can check out my other video where I do a seated practice for hips and lower back. You can choose to stay just as you are here with the right foot to the mat, or maybe on your next inhale, draw that right knee in towards the chest, taking hold of wherever on that right leg feels comfortable. Could be the thigh, could be the right shin, depending on your flexibility. Continuing to flex those left toes towards the left shin as you guide that left knee away from you. Continuing to take nice deep breaths here. And you can even do a gentle rock from side to side with the legs if that feels comfortable, for the helping to open up the hip and glute here. The lower back is calling our attention. Often means the muscles around the hips, the glutes, pelvic floor are all tight as well. Everything is interconnected in the body. If you're rocking from side to side, slowly coming back to stillness, let's take another deep breath in and out. And then with your next exhale, releasing that right foot back to the mat if it's not already, unwinding the legs. And we're going to get ready to set up for the other side. So taking that right ankle on top of the left thigh, flexing those right toes towards the right shin as we gently guide that right knee away from the body. Feel free to use your hand here and check in. Maybe you're going to stay with the left foot to the mat on this side if the right hip and glute are feeling particularly tight. And this is enough of a stretch. Or if you want to go deeper with your next inhale, draw that left knee in towards the chest, taking hold of wherever is comfortable. And again, on this side, maybe you're going to bring a gentle rock from side to side. If that left knee is in towards the chest, further opening up through the right hip and glute. You're rocking from side to side, letting yourself come back to stillness. Take a deep breath in and out. And then with your next exhale, returning that left sole of the foot back to the mat, unwinding the legs, allow them to come to mat distance apart once again. Windshield wipering the knees from side to side a few times. And the next time the knees come back through center, keeping the feet as they are, returning the knees to gently fall inwards and prop against each other. Just taking 3 deep breaths here to tune back into those hips and lower back. Noticing how things are feeling now. Knowing you can always come back to this practice and do it again. And then when you're ready, letting yourself move on with your day. Namaste.